The next days in Alex's apartment were nothing like his normal life. Before, his days were quiet and boring, filled with work, food, and sleep. Now every hour felt like a challenge, a test of patience and survival, because he was no longer alone. He was living with Lyra, a girl from another world. At first, everything was awkward. Lyra struggled to speak, her words broken and heavy, but her eyes showed determination. Alex would point at objects in the room and repeat their names. Slowly, she copied him, sometimes correctly, sometimes with strange twists. And every mistake made her laugh softly. Her laugh was like music, something pure in the middle of all the fear. For Alex, those moments reminded him why he had chosen to help her. Food became another lesson. She loved bread, but disliked coffee. Wrinkling her nose whenever Alex tried to make her taste it. She enjoyed fruits, especially sweet ones. And every time she ate something new, her glowing eyes lit with surprise. It was clear that her senses were sharper than human senses. She could smell before he even started cooking, and she could hear the smallest sound outside the building. Sometimes she warned him before a delivery truck even turned into the street. Her alien instincts made Alex realize she was more than just a fragile girl. She was something extraordinary. But with every smile came shadows of danger. Every night drones still passed by, scanning the city. Sometimes Alex caught Lyra staring at the sky with fear, whispering words he did not understand. She never explained everything, but he could tell she was hiding pain. A story too heavy for her broken human language. Her collar glowed faintly, always reminding them both that she was chained by technology she did not control. One evening, Alex decided to test something. He placed a small screwdriver near the collar and tried to pry at its surface. Immediately, Lyra cried out, sparks flashing across her skin. Alex pulled back quickly, horrified. Her breathing was fast, her hands shaking, but she touched his arm gently, whispering, "Not fault." The words cut through him like a knife. He realized that the collar was not just a tracker, it was a prison built into her body. Removing it would not be easy, and every attempt could kill her. Despite the danger, their bond grew stronger. Lyra began to trust him enough to walk around the apartment freely, touching books, turning on lights, and asking simple questions in her broken voice. When she made mistakes, Alex corrected her gently, and she smiled proudly whenever she got something right. Sometimes she copied his movements, sitting beside him, folding her arms the same way, or tilting her head when he did. It made Alex laugh, something he had not done in a long time. The small apartment, once silent, was now filled with the sound of two lives learning to share space. But their peace was fragile. One night, Alex heard a loud buzzing sound outside, different from the usual drones. When he looked through the blinds, his stomach dropped. A larger machine hovered in the distance, black and silver, scanning rooftops with beams of light. Lyra saw it too and whispered one word, "Hunters." Her voice trembled, and for the first time, Alex saw her glowing eyes fill with tears. She knew they were getting closer. The next morning, Alex began preparing. He told Lyra with simple words, "We must hide better." She nodded quickly, eager to help. She showed him how to cover windows with foil to block heat scans. She used strange gestures to sense electricity, warning him when a drone flew nearby. Her alien skills became their survival tools. Together, they turned his small apartment into a hidden shelter. It was not perfect, but it gave them a chance. One evening, while teaching her new words, Alex asked carefully, "Where from?" Lyra hesitated, her glowing eyes looking distant. She whispered slowly, "Not here. Taken. Cage. Pet." The word pet burned in Alex's mind. She was stolen from her world, forced into a box and sold as a product. Anger filled him again, stronger than before. He looked at her and said firmly, "You are not a pet, Lyra." She tilted her head, trying to understand, then repeated softly, "Not pet," and smiled faintly. In that moment, Alex knew she was more than a secret in his apartment. She was a person who deserved freedom. The days passed, but tension never faded. Alex noticed strange cars parked near his street, men in dark clothes. Asking neighbors questions, he kept Lyra hidden, but he knew it was only a matter of time before someone came knocking at his door. Lyra sensed it too, often standing by the window, her glowing eyes scanning the sky like a trapped bird longing for freedom. She was learning fast, stronger every day, but still chained by the collar. Alex made himself a promise that night, whispering as she slept on the couch, "I'll find a way to free you." And somewhere outside, in the endless city, the hunters were preparing too. The game of survival had only just begun. Alex and Lyra were no longer strangers, they were partners, but soon they would have to fight together, or be taken apart forever. The morning sun filtered weakly through the blinds of Alex's apartment, but Alex had barely slept. All night he had sat in the chair, staring at the alien girl who now rested on his couch. Her breathing was soft, her glowing chest symbol pulsed slowly, like the rhythm of a heartbeat. He kept asking himself if this was all a dream. But every time she shifted or whispered in her sleep, reality hit harder. When she finally opened her eyes, Alex froze, those strange blue glowing eyes locked on him, sharp but innocent. Filled with both fear and curiosity, she tried to sit up, but winced in pain, her collar glowing faintly again. Alex quickly held out his hand to calm her, speaking gently, "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The words felt strange, but he hoped his tone carried, meaning she could understand. The girl tilted her head, studying him like a wild animal unsure of a stranger. Her lips parted, and in a broken, uncertain voice she copied his word, "O-K." Alex's heart jumped. She was trying to learn. He slowly moved to the kitchen, brought her water, and placed it in her hands. At first she sniffed it carefully, then sipped, and then drank quickly like someone who had been thirsty for days. Watching her struggle made Alex realize something. She was not some advanced machine pretending to be alive. She was real, flesh and blood, breathing and learning. The so-called company had lied, selling living beings as products to unsuspecting buyers. It made him sick to think of how many others might have been sent to homes where no one cared. The girl tried to speak again, pointing at herself with a weak hand. Ra. The name was soft but clear. Alex repeated it carefully. Lyra. And she nodded with a faint smile. For the first time she looked less afraid, as if a small bridge of trust had been built. Then she pointed at him, her glowing eyes. Curious, he tapped his chest. "Alex." She repeated the name slowly. Lex. Stumbling but determined to learn. The moment felt almost unreal. Two worlds meeting in a small, quiet apartment. She was clearly intelligent, more than he expected. But when her stomach growled softly, Alex realized she needed more than just words. He cooked something simple, bread and eggs, unsure if she could even eat human food. When he offered it, she looked at the plate suspiciously, sniffed it, then carefully tasted. Her face brightened instantly, and she began eating like someone who hadn't eaten in a very long time. As she ate, Alex sat quietly, trying to piece everything together. Why was she sent in that strange package? And why did she wear a collar that caused pain? He studied the device carefully, noticing small alien markings carved into the metal. Every time Lyra moved too quickly, the collar sparked slightly, making her flinch. It was not only a tracker, it was a control device. Anger stirred in Alex's chest. Whoever made this wanted her to stay obedient, like a true pet after she finished eating. Lyra looked around the apartment curiously. She touched objects gently, examining the lights, the books, the small plants by the window. Her movements were cautious but filled with fascination. When she found a mirror, she stared at her reflection for a long moment. Her glowing eyes flickered, and she touched the glass as if seeing herself for the first time in freedom. Alex wondered how long she had been kept in that box before arriving at his door. Suddenly, a sound outside the window caught her attention. Her ears twitched, sharper than human hearing. She moved quickly to Alex, grabbing his arm. Whispering a single word with fear, "Hunters." Alex's heart skipped. He rushed to the window and peeked outside. 2 black drones floated slowly past the building, scanning with red lights. He felt his chest tighten. The company must already be looking for her. He pulled the curtains shut and whispered. "Stay quiet," Lyra obeyed, crouching low, her glowing chest dimming as if she was controlling it. They waited in silence as the drones hovered outside for a long moment before finally drifting away. Alex exhaled, realizing how dangerous this situation had become. Keeping her here meant risking his life, but letting her go was not an option either. When the danger passed, Lyra touched his hand gently. Her eyes soft, she whispered, "Thank you." Though her voice cracked on the words, Alex looked at her and nodded, realizing something inside him had changed. He no longer saw her as a burden or a mistake. She was now his responsibility, a life that had been thrown into his hands. And for some reason, he felt determined to protect her, no matter the cost. That night, as the city outside glowed with neon lights and hidden dangers, Alex sat across from Lyra, teaching her simple words one by one. She repeated them with growing confidence, smiling shyly each time she got one right. In her glowing eyes he no longer saw only fear. He saw trust forming, a fragile bond that would only grow stronger. But deep down, Alex knew this was only the beginning. If hunters were already nearby, more would surely come, and soon. The secret he was keeping inside his small apartment might explode into something far bigger than he could imagine. The night was quiet, the streets almost empty, and only the sound of distant cars echoed in the air. Inside his small apartment, Alex sat in front of his screen, staring at the order confirmation he had placed a week ago. He had bought something unusual, something advertised as the latest wonder in technology, a smart pet. The company promised it was more advanced than a robot, smarter than a dog, and more loyal than a human friend. Alex had laughed at the advertisement at first, but curiosity got the better of him. Now he was waiting for it to arrive. When the knock finally came at his door, Alex almost jumped from his chair. It was late, far too late for normal deliveries. He opened the door and found no one, only a long black package resting quietly on the floor. It had strange silver markings on it, almost glowing, as if written in another language. For a moment, Alex felt a chill run through his body. He bent down, touched the box, and felt warmth under his fingers. It was not cold like ordinary metal or plastic. It almost felt alive. Alex dragged the box inside and closed the door quickly. His heart was beating faster than usual, a mix of fear and excitement. He placed the package on the floor and examined it carefully. There was no company logo, no shipping label, nothing human about it. Only the glowing lines that pulsed slowly, like veins carrying light. He whispered to himself, "What did I just buy?" With trembling hands, Alex found a latch on the side of the box. When he pressed it, the box hissed, releasing a faint mist into the room. The air smelled strange, sweet but sharp, like a flower mixed with electricity. Slowly the lid opened, and Alex leaned forward, holding his breath. What he saw inside made him stumble back in shock. There was no robotic pet, no mechanical toy. Inside the box lay a young alien girl, curled up like she had been sleeping. Her skin was pale with a faint glow. Her ears were sharp and long, her hair dark and silky. Around her neck was a strange metallic collar, and on her chest a symbol of light was pulsing softly. She opened her eyes slowly, and Alex froze. Her eyes were not human, glowing with deep blue light, as if stars lived inside them. For a moment, they stared at each other in silence. The girl's lips moved, whispering words Alex could not understand. Her voice was soft, weak, but carried a tone of fear and need. Alex shook his head, whispering to himself, "This cannot be real. This is not possible." But the girl moved, crawling slightly out of the box, and her trembling hands reached toward him. She looked desperate, like someone lost and afraid. Alex panicked, stepping back, but then stopped. He could not ignore the look in her eyes. A mix of pain and hope. She spoke again, slower this time, trying to copy his words. "Help me." The sound was broken, but clear enough to understand. Alex's heart sank. The company had not sent him a pet. They had sent him a living being, a real alien girl, fragile and helpless in front of him. He felt his hands shaking as he reached for her, helping her sit up. The collar around her neck glowed brighter when he touched it, and she winced in pain. Clearly, the device was controlling her somehow. Anger and fear mixed inside Alex's mind. Who would sell a living creature like this and call it a product? The girl leaned against him, exhausted, her glowing eyes slowly closing again. She was weak, hungry, and clearly injured. Alex carefully placed her on the couch, covering her with a blanket. He sat beside her, running his fingers through his hair, trying to make sense of everything. He whispered, "What have I gotten myself into?" Outside the window, strange lights moved across the night sky. Alex noticed them for the first time, glowing red like hunting drones. They hovered in the distance, searching, scanning. A sudden realization hit him. Maybe this girl was not only a mistake in shipping. Maybe she was running from someone. And now that she was with him, he might be the one they were looking for. The quiet apartment no longer felt safe. The strange package had changed everything. Alex was no longer just an ordinary man with a curious order. He was now the keeper of a secret, a living alien girl who had appeared in his life like a dream and a nightmare at the same time. And somewhere outside, in the shadows of the city, someone or something was already looking for her.